do now is he doesn't waste a lot of, there's not a lot of wasted motion by Oquendo running around the ring. He sets down more in his punches. His jab is a good stinging shot now. He's shown more power in his right hand. He just doesn't waste a lot of energy with a lot of wasted motion.
Sean O'Grady is back with us now.
Yeah, it's an exciting back and forth battle. But my biggest concern, especially if I'm in the corner of Obed Sullivan, are his eyes. Look how swelling because of those punches of Oquendo, those little jabs like that. They're making his eyes swell up. The biggest concern I would have, this fight would be stopped as a result of the swelling on the eyes. Now, Oquendo's got an outstanding jab because he uses it. You know, we talked about the weight of Oquendo. He says that, you know, he's a Chris Bird type of fighter. He uses strategy and skills in the ring. He weighs in at around 215 pounds, but look at Muhammad Ali. He was 212 when he was heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, he says, I'm just an average size heavyweight and I make use of the skills that I have, and that's exactly what he does. You know, the other thing that's interesting to me, guys, about this is Oquendo, for all the wrong reasons, is likely to get a shot because the perception is going to be he can't really punch, so why not? Let's take a shot at this guy. I'll tell you what, whether he can punch or not, what he does do is win.
I'll tell you, I've never been hit with an easy punch. They all hurt.
Exactly.
And he is a heavyweight. He has good power. You saw him stun Obed Sullivan in the first round. He didn't know it, or may have tried to go ahead and clean up there in that first. He didn't realize he'd knocked him out. But Sullivan did everything he could just to hang in that fight. Obed Sullivan told me tonight I got to get my Irish up. He said the name Sullivan goes back a long way in this sport of boxing.
Ask Cliff Etienne if he can punch.
Yeah, that's right.
7 knockdowns.
He just had a pretty good overhand right again. Really his first in the last few rounds.
He brings that overhand right down the middle, and it's a good shot. Although a lot of times when he knocked Etienne down, he was hitting him up high on the top of the head and basically kind of dizzying him, it seemed like.
Come to the end of round 6 and another good round for Oquendo. We'll be back.
When he jabs Obed Sullivan, after the jab, he doesn't bring it back. He keeps jabbing, jab, jab, jab. He never brings it all the way back. It was a long punch to start with and then 3 short jabs to follow.
And that is why the second jab seems faster than the first. Second and third, every jab subsequent to that, because your hand's out there farther. All of a sudden you get hit with 1, you're hitting with 3. Nice work. Oh, Oquendo has sure done his homework.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he's fought exactly the fight that I'm sure he came in here hoping to fight. And so far, I've given Sullivan 1 round, everything else to Oquendo.
But they've been close, and Sullivan is trying in this fight. You know what? Sullivan has gotten better as a fighter. We've seen him in his career. We've seen him fight many times. He has gotten better, but he just hasn't been able to take the step over the hump.
I think it's interesting. His corner was telling you, Sean, that they want to take this fight into the later rounds, that their man has been there, and Oquendo is not. And while that's accurate, when their man was in the final round against Larry Donald, he managed to get himself knocked out, and it cost him the fight.
Yes, however, in his last fight, we saw him with Sherman Williams, and he poured it on in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Really pulled the fight out in the later rounds. So they're thinking, you know, their thinking is, we got to do that again in this match. They want him to wear down Oquendo. But I tell you, Frez has been working out in Puerto Rico with Felix Trinidad Sr. and also Felix Jr. getting him ready for his big fight. I mean, he is in shape.
Oquendo just has been putting on a boxing clinic in this round. His jab has been beautiful to behold in this 7th round.
And Sullivan has followed him around at just the wrong distance. You close the gap, get in a little bit more or way out away from him. Don't take those jabs.
Rich, you too have given Sullivan just the 1 round. And there, look at that jab. 4 jabs.
That's what we talked about again in that last round. After you throw that first long one, quick, boom, boom, boom.
So important. The most important weapon in boxing is that jab, and he uses it. You know, you see heavyweights too that have a good jab, but they don't utilize it.
Just not allowing Sullivan to get off and to get in any kind of a rhythm at all. There's that overhand right again.
It freezes you. When you get hit with a jab like that, it confuses you momentarily. When you get hit with 3 of them or 4 of them, it confuses you for a little bit longer. Kind of like me saying that. Felt like I was getting hit with a few jabs.
There's that overhand right again, right behind the jab.
Good combination. Boy, you can just feel the intensity in this fight.
What you really feel is the fight slipping away from Sullivan. Welcome back to the Silver Star Hotel and Casino, Choctaw, Mississippi. Gary Tompkins, Rich Murata, the champ, Sean O'Grady. This is our main event. It's for the NABF Heavyweight Championship. We're going 12 rounds. Fres Oquendo in the white trunks and Obed Sullivan in the gold. And so far, Oquendo has dictated the fight.
With those jabs, he steers from the outside, Oquendo does. And then on the inside, he punches or he ties up. Really masterful work. He has really been spending the time in the gym. Knew what to expect. He says, I love it when opponents advance. And he's had an opponent all over him tonight. Obed Sullivan has moved in right into his punches. Like to see some side-to-side lateral movement from Obed, some bobbing and weaving.
When we first picked up on Fres Oquendo, he was living in Chicago at the time. Now he lives in Puerto Rico with his wife, 5 kids. I talked to him by phone 2 days ago, and I could hear the sound of crying very loud in the background throughout our phone call. One of his children, his daughter, got very ill actually when he was first scheduled to fight Clifford Etienne. He had to postpone that fight because of that, but fortunately the young girl is fine now and healthy.
His daughter Jada. Also got Fres Jr., Naheem, Sullivan, and Maya. 5 kids. Fres Oquendo. You can't get lazy out there. Fres got tagged with that jab.
You think he's relaxing a little in this round?
He's relaxed his whole fight, but he fights relaxed. That's his style. He's relaxed in there. He's not real tense. He is loose. And it's real difficult to catch somebody who is loose like that with a real clean, hard shot. They kind of roll with the punches, and that's something that he's been working on, is rolling punches.
Right. Sean, now what happens with the knockdowns with Etienne? He kept hitting him high on top of the head and up high in the forehead, then even on top of the head. They were causing knockdowns, and his legs were going all crazy in that fight. It's not the knockout spot, which you normally think of as the point of the chin. You as a fighter, I just wonder what happens as when you get hit up top.
Well, you get the same reaction as when you get hit right in the point of the chin. The mandible, actually gives you a lot of problems, TMJ, with your jaw knocking you out, but also you can get hit high on the head, like on the forehead, and get knocked out.
This has been, incidentally, a much better round for Obed Sullivan.
Beautiful sport. Yes, he's using more pressure, throwing more punches this round. Oh, good right hand from Oquendo. That's the way Obed must fight this match. Plus, this is what he's waiting for, the latter half of the fight.
He's got Oquendo going backward for the first time. Oquendo tries to rally at the end of the round.
The David Tua fight, and Susan said, I looked at him, he got beaten that fight, I said, this man needs me. So she started with him. She said, since we've been together, he has not lost a fight. So Obed Sullivan has a little motivation in that corner. She is very nervous though.
Can't be easy for a wife to sit there and see her husband out there taking those punches.
I tell you, since I've watched some of these female fights, it's really given me a different feeling for boxing. They're out there giving it everything that they can. They're really emotional. I can imagine how my mother felt when I was boxing.
Oh, a nice uppercut by Oquendo on the other side of the ring before they got caught up over here. He hasn't used that punch much tonight.
Two also banged heads in there. Both of these fighters, real amiable, outside the ring, wanting to improve, wanting to help their careers, taking boxing very seriously.
This round is more up-tempo than the last round. Oquendo didn't do a lot in the last round, but this round, both fighters trying to do a little business.
Ooh, good combination from Oquendo.
And it backed Sullivan off of him.
Nice night by Sullivan. Sullivan served in the Marines for 8 years. Gotta get him and Ray Mercer matched up.
That's right. The all-military contest. Get him on Tough Man. Sullivan pretty much comes straight at you here. You don't have to look for him.
No, and really when you're punching, your punches land right on him. If he moved his head a little bit more, or he rolled the punches like Oquendo has learned to do, he wouldn't be all swelled up.
Sullivan's corner motioning for him to just keep coming, come in.
They've really turned up the intensity. You know, there was so much tension over there in the corner. There is Sue.
Sullivan trying here.
Is he ever? There was a lot of question about whether he tried against David Tua. That won't be questioned here tonight.
No. Took a right to the top of the head.
He does realize that at this point he must have a win tonight. He realizes the importance of this fight.
Well, and he's running out of rounds, and he knows he gave away a lot of the early rounds. I'm not sure he gave them away or really that Oquendo took them. And those eyes of Sullivan